it seems that we have now been presented with what may be the do's and don'ts of Christian discipleship. As Jesus spoke to his disciples that day, he outlined for them, and I think for us as well, what it means to walk in his footsteps. But I say this to you, he would begin, before outlining just what discipleship is meant to look like in the lives of each of us. I say this to you, he said, offer the wicked no resistance. If anyone hits you on one cheek, offer the other as well. Time and again, the call from Jesus to his disciples was to go that extra step in their lives. In this way, they do indeed become a sign of that kingdom of God in the lives of the people that they encounter. Perhaps even the bad people who also occupy our world. Even these people, as bad as they are, they enjoy the benefits of God's gifts of love and life. For God causes his sun to shine on them, and God causes his rain to fall on them as well. Perhaps as disciples of Jesus Christ, as people called to be signs of that kingdom of God in the world, it's important for us to be as generous as God has been, especially to the people that we meet, whether they be good or bad. Perhaps as disciples, such a call to compassionate love can seem to be a little extreme, especially when we see the many things that bad people do in our world today. How can we possibly be good to them? But that is what the message of Jesus was all about. To walk in his footsteps, to be a sign of God's kingdom of love in the world, it's important to find that compassionate love of God that has been given by God to all of us who share the world. So we now know what we are meant to be and what we are meant to do if we accept that call of God in our lives, to use the many gifts and talents that God has given to us for the benefit of the so many people to whom we are called to minister. As Jesus walked the earth, he did exactly that. He offered his time to the sinners and the outcasts of the world. He gave of his time and his power and authority to all who would come to him. To the tax collectors, who so often cheated the poor of their world. To the lepers and the outcasts, who came seeking healing and forgiveness. He was there for all of them. And this is the way he showed to his first disciples just what their life and their mission is meant to be about. Signs of love and compassion for all who come to them. This too is the model that we follow as disciples of Jesus Christ today. But there had been even more that Jesus would present to his disciples then and perhaps even now. It would be a significant challenge as they and we choose to walk in the footsteps, exercising our ministry of love and care for others, both bad and good. There was a question Jesus asked of his disciples way back then. And it's a question that is, I think, quite confronting. It was a simple question that he put to his disciples. But it was a question that carried a great deal of challenge to them and to us as well here today. The question Jesus asked way back then was simple. Are you doing anything exceptional? Now, for many of us, the call to discipleship can indeed be lived out in our lives as we endeavour to respond to that call of Jesus to do what we can for the bad as well as the good. So many of us, throughout our lives, endeavour to give of ourselves for the sake of those who may need our compassionate love and care at that moment in their lives. And all of that is good. But then the question Jesus asked still hangs to confront us in our lives of faith. Are we doing anything extra? Are we doing anything exceptional? Or are we simply going about our lives without too much challenge to our own gifts and talents, to our ministry and mission for the world? It was this question that Jesus had asked of his disciples. Perhaps to highlight to them that there could be more for them to carry out as they endeavoured to live out their call to ministry in the world. There may have been times for those disciples to go that extra step and do something exceptional in their ministry to the people who would come their way. That was the question Jesus asked of them as they shared his journey. It's a question perhaps for us also to ponder within our lives today as people of faith. I'm sure that there could be more that we can achieve as the disciples of Christ in the world today. But again, it requires us to choose. It requires us to truly become active disciples of Christ, especially for the world in which we live. For us to choose to go that extra step in offering our gifts and our talents for the sake of the church to which we belong, and for the sake of the people of our world, so very much in need of what we can perhaps provide for them. Once again, we hark back to that call and invitation Jesus offered to his disciples. Go that extra step, he told them. Be that sign of the presence of God in the world by the way you respond to the needs of the people you meet. That is the call of discipleship, both then and now. Each of us are called to go that extra step. We are called to do that thing that is exceptional in our lives and ministry as we endeavour to live what we believe. Perhaps in this way, we endeavour to respond to the question Jesus asked. Are you doing anything exceptional? I wonder how we respond today.